National WAEC and NECO examinations has been made easy by the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education with the Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO Candidates television program. Join seasoned teachers as they take you through these core subjects: mathematics, English language, physics, chemistry, and biology, targeting the exact syllabus of WAEC and NECO. Watch Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates on this station. Learners can also connect with Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates through these social media platforms to access more educational content and give their feedback. Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Pass your examinations with flying colors.
Hello, welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. I am Oluwatosin Oloti, your English teacher. In today's lesson, we are going to continue from where we stopped in our previous class, where I told you types of phrases. We are going to learn adverbial phrases today. We are going to learn adjective phrase. We are also going to learn prepositional phrase in today's class. So let's dive in.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
Types of phrases. At the end of today's lesson, you would learn how to identify adjective phrase and function. You will learn how to identify adverbial phrase and their function. Also, prepositional phrase and their functions, and its functions rather. Adverbial phrase. Adverbial phrase is defined as phrases that consist of an adverb plus any modifier such as an adverb. In linguistics, an adverbial phrase is a group of two or more words operating adverbially, meaning that their syntactic function is to modify a verb, an adjective, or an adverb. An adverbial phrase adverbial phrases are phrases that do the work of an adverb. What does that mean? It implies that an adverbial phrase does the work of an adverb. And remember what an adverb does. An adverb modifies. It can modify a verb, it can modify an adverb, it can also modify an adjective, and that is exactly what an adverbial phrase does. So let's go and see the functions. Let's look at the types of adverbial phrases. Remember that we have adverb of time, adverb of place, adverb of frequency, adverb of manner. We also have adverb of manner. All these are examples of types of adverb, and we also have it in adverbial phrases. We have adverbial phrase of time. An adverbial phrase of time states when something happened. When an adverb states when something happened, it is known as adverbial phrase of time. Now, how do you know it's a phrase? When it's a phrase, one, it will not make a complete thought. And don't forget that we are referring to adverb this time around. So you should know that it is modifying, it's performing the function of an adverb in that sentence. That's why you can refer to it as an adverb of phrase, an adverbial phrase rather. Look at the first example we have. She will see the doctor on Monday. She will see the doctor on Monday. In that first sentence, on Monday is underlined. On Monday is underlined. Now, the underlined word talks about time. Now, if you want to identify adverbial phrase of time, you should ask yourself the question when. And if you can answer the question when, you will arrive at your adverbial phrase of time. She will see the doctor when? On Monday. So adverbial phrase of time. The meeting started at 12 noon. The meeting started at 12 noon. What question would you ask in this sentence? When? When? The meeting started when? At 12 noon. That's an adverbial phrase of time as well. Adverbial phrase of place. Place answer the questions where. Look at the first example we have. We met John at the bus stop. Where did we meet John? We met John at the bus stop. So when you ask the question where, you arrive at adverbial phrase of place. Look at the second example. The boy is working in the garden. Where is the boy working? In the garden. Adverb of place. Take notes. Adverbial phrase of place. That's how to identify your adverbial phrase of place. You ask yourself the question where. By the time you ask the question and you answer, you will arrive at adverbial phrase of place. Let's proceed. Now we have adverbial phrase of reason. The question you should ask yourself anytime you want to arrive at the adverb of reason is why. Look at the first example. The chairman resigned. Why? On account of the allegation. The chairman resigned on the account of the allegation. This adverbial phrase of reason will answer the question why. The second example we have there, the woman gave the resident some money. Why did she give the resident some money? Or out of charity. She gave them money out of charity. Why? Out of charity. Adverbial phrase of frequency. Adverbial phrase of frequency, this reveals the rate at which an action, phenomenon, and so on recurs. The first example, Tolu comes here once in a while. Tolu comes here once in a while. Frequency. Now the frequency talks about the rate. The second example, the students study quite regularly. How often? Regularly. So it's also an adverb of frequency, an adverbial phrase of frequency. It's an adverbial phrase because we have more than one element, so it becomes a phrase, and it's a phrase because it doesn't make a complete thought. Once in a while doesn't make a complete thought. Quite regular doesn't make a complete thought. So that is why it is referred to adverbial phrase. An adverbial phrase of frequency because it tells us how often something is done. Now we have adverbial phrase of manner. Adverbial phrase of manner. An adverbial phrase of manner states how something is done. You ask yourself the question how. To arrive at adverbial phrase of manner, you should ask yourself the question how. Bola drives how? Very carefully. That's an adverb of manner. Adverbial phrase of manner. She sleeps how? Like a baby. Like a baby. That's also an example of adverbial phrase of manner because it answers the question how. Now let's move to the next type of phrase that we are going to consider today. We have adjectival phrase. It's also known as adjective phrase. An adjectival phrase qualifies a noun. Don't forget, I told you that if you remember the word class, that is your noun, your adjective, your preposition, these will form a background knowledge to any of these topics. Now, if you remember what an adjective does, you know an adjective modifies a noun, right? Now, if you remember that it modifies or qualifies a noun, you would be able to understand the functions of an adjective. An adjectival phrase qualifies a noun. In other words, it does the work of an adjective in a sentence. And what does an adjective do in a sentence? What's the function of an adjective? What does an adjective do in a sentence? It always begins with preposition words such as in, on, with, from. These are the ways adjective phrase are being introduced in sentence. So take note of those. Take note of these prepositions in, on, with, from. These are examples of the prepositions that are used to introduce adjective phrase. Look at the first example we have here. The boy with a dirty clothes stole the money. Look at the sentence once again. Now, what is the underlined word? What is the purpose of the underlined word there? It is qualifying the noun, right? What is the noun? The noun is the boy. The boy. What is modifying or qualifying the boy? That is, what is giving us more information about the boy? What is giving us more information about the boy in this sentence is with a dirty cloth. That is, there is a particular boy that has a dirty cloth on, which makes us to understand that there are different boys. Probably there are different boys in that particular environment, but there is this particular one that is dirty, and that particular one stole the money. So the boy with dirty clothes stole the money. Adjective phrase in that sentence is with a dirty clothes, because an adjective does what? It qualifies a noun. It gives us more information about the noun. So in this case, with a dirty clothes is an adjective phrase. Now what is the function? That is the grammatical function. It qualifies the noun boy, the boy. Do you understand? It can qualify the noun phrase. It qualifies the noun or the noun phrase, the boy. All right, let's go to the second example. Tope is very beautiful. Tope is very beautiful. In that sentence, we have very beautiful underlined. What is the function of very beautiful in that sentence? Of course, very beautiful is giving us additional information about the subject. And the subject is the noun, Tope. It qualifies Tope, that is, it's telling us that Tope is beautiful. So the grammatical name is adjective phrase. And what is the grammatical function? The grammatical function is that it is a subject, it functions as a subject complement. The subject complement of, it serves as a subject complement. It is complementing the subject, which is Tope. Very beautiful is the adjective phrase, and it is complementing Tope, that is giving us more information about Tope, adding more information, qualification to Tope. Look at another example we have here. The dress makes Mary very elegant. The dress makes Mary very elegant. Very elegant is underlined. Very elegant is underlined in the sentence. Now, in this particular sentence, what is very elegant doing in that sentence? Of course, very elegant is qualifying the noun. And what is the noun in this sentence? What is the noun that is being qualified? The noun that is being qualified is Mary. It's giving us more, it's adding more quality to Mary. That is the function of the noun phrase there. Now, that is the function of the adjective phrase rather. So, very elegant is an adjective phrase which is giving us more information about Mary. And who is Mary? Mary is the object. So, in this case, the adjective phrase is functioning as the object complement. That is, it is complementing Mary, which is a noun and objects. So, objects complement in that particular sentence. So, in other words, a noun, an adjective phrase can function as the subject. It can qualify the noun. It can qualify the noun. It can function as subject complement. It can function as object complement. I hope you understand that it can complement the object, the subject rather. It can serve as or function as subject complement, and it can also function as object complement. We move to the next one, and that is prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase. The first thing that should come to your mind right now is what is a preposition. I hope you remember that, and that will be your background knowledge on this topic. Prepositional phrase. A prepositional phrase is a group of words that has a preposition as its head word. What is head word? Head word means the particular word that introduces that particular phrase you are referring to. So that's the meaning of head word. It has the preposition as the head word and a noun, pronoun, or a noun phrase as its object. In other words, a prepositional phrase consists of a preposition with its object and any accompanying modifiers. Let's look at the example of what we're talking about. I said the head word, which is a preposition, serves as a marker that introduces the prepositional phrase. The head word introduces the prepositional phrase. That's why it's called the head word. For instance, in the car, in the car, comma, so in the car. Now, what is introducing this particular phrase? This particular phrase is being introduced by the head word, which is a preposition. In is a preposition. In, then this other part is a noun phrase. Don't forget, if you go through the definition once again, I said prepositional phrase is usually introduced by the head word, which is a preposition. Okay? In the car, that's a prepositional phrase. On the table, on is a preposition and it is introducing this phrase. The table is a noun phrase. On the table, that's also a prepositional phrase. Now let's look at ways prepositional phrase can function. Prepositional phrase can function as an adjunct in the sentence. Look at the example we have. The students went to the school farm. The students went to the school farm. Now, what is the preposition in this sentence? To, right? To is the head word, which is a preposition, and it is introducing the other modifier to the farm, to the school farm, which serves as the noun phrase. So this is a prepositional phrase. Okay? More examples. Just as adverb, a prepositional phrase can also occur at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end of sentences. Look at the examples we have. The man in the room is my uncle. Can you identify the preposition? In, right? Of course. Now, what is the prepositional phrase? In the room. The man in the room is my uncle. Kanu became the best striker of the year. Can you identify the preposition in that sentence? Of, right? Now, what is the prepositional phrase? Of the year. My grandma has been kind to her neighbor. What is the preposition? To. Then what is the prepositional phrase? To a neighbor. For your information, I am married. In that sentence, what is the preposition? For? Then what is a prepositional phrase? Your with preposition with noun phrase becomes a prepositional phrase. For your information. The infant is with a sister. With is a preposition. A sister is a noun phrase. Then together it becomes a prepositional phrase. I am at the place you told me about yesterday. I am at the place you told me about yesterday. Look at that sentence. What is the preposition? Can you identify it? At, right? Now, what is the prepositional phrase? At the place. At the place. That is a prepositional phrase. Now it's time for evaluation. Identify the grammatical names of the underlined phrases. Identify the grammatical names of the underlined phrases. Number 1, the army is on the move. The army is on the move. Number 2, okay, this should be the man ran across the field. The man ran across the field. The third question, the girl with a red bag stole the money. The girl with a red bag stole the money. And the fourth question, my pets wake promptly at sunset. Can you identify the grammatical names and the functions in the sentence? Okay. All right, let's answer the questions together. The army is on the move. On the move. Remember, on is a preposition, right? So it's a prepositional phrase. I hope you understand that. Now, the man ran across the field. The man ran across the field. It's also an example of prepositional phrase. Across is a preposition. The field is a noun phrase. Then across the field is prepositional phrase. The third question, the girl with a red bag. The girl with a red bag stole the money. With a red bag, it's an example, or the grammatical name in that particular sentence is, what is with a red bag doing there? What is it doing? It is modifying, it is qualifying this girl, right? And if it is qualifying that girl, that's a function of an adjective, right? So we can say this is adjective phrase or adjectival phrase. So in other words, with a red bag is adjectival phrase, and what is it doing? It qualifies the noun girl. It qualifies the noun girl. Number 4, the pets wake promptly at sunshine. The pet wakes promptly at sunrise, rather. Now, in this particular sentence, promptly is adverb, right? Adverb. Adverb of manner. Don't forget, because you have to you need to ask the question, my pet wakes, how? And when you ask the question how, if you are going to answer that question, you are going to get what is known as adverbial phrase. Adverbial phrase of manner. My pet wakes how? Promptly at sunrise. So that is an adverbial phrase of manner, because promptly is manner. I hope that is clear.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
For feedback, comments, or questions, please drop that on our social media handle on the screen. I thank you. I will see you some other time. Bye.
Acing your WAEC and NECO examinations has been made easy by the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education with the Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO Candidates television program. Join seasoned teachers as they take you through these core subjects: mathematics, English language, physics, chemistry, and biology, targeting the exact syllabus of WAEC and NECO. Watch Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates on this station. Learners can also connect with Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates through these social media platforms to access more educational content and give their feedback. Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Pass your examinations with flying colors.